Alright, last week we kicked off our Lucky Bay adventure, and this week the fun and the drama continues as we get out on the water and have a bit of fun. We have a bit of all sorts with the weather. The Landcruiser lets us down for the first time ever, but to sweeten the deal, we score a free feed of fresh fish. Now, if you want to know how to get your setup down onto the beach at Lucky Bay, coming up this week on YouTube, this Tuesday, we're going to be releasing the first of a series of videos we're going to be doing all about the different campsites along the WA coast. So we're kicking things off with Lucky Bay, how to get your van down onto the beach, what's at the campground, what to expect when you get there. And then from there, we're going to be doing a whole series of these, as I say, over the next few months. So we're going to be doing 14 Mile, we're going to be doing all the Ningaloo coast ones, South Lefroy, North Lefroy, Osprey, Windabandy, all those popular campsites, so that you know where the best sites are, how to get in there, what to expect when you get there, and everything in between, where to restock, everything you need to know basically to come to these campsites, because if you're anything like us, that information is very difficult to find. So don't forget, this Tuesday on YouTube, we're going to be showing you exactly how to get your caravan or camper down onto the beach at Lucky Bay so you can have a cracking time like we have. Well, good morning from Lucky Bay. Kalbarri Lucky Bay, not South WA Lucky Bay. We've just been hanging out with Andrew and Bryony from Accelerate Off Grid, who we met all the way back at Membernup Beach. They were here on the beach with their truck and caravan, and their mates, who we met, Beck and Wade as well, absolute legends from our beautiful Chaos. Yeah, they're both got trucks, both got boats, so we just had a bit of fun with those guys, had some really good weather. Got out on the tube and got out behind the boat for a bit. Kids got in the tube as well, which was a lot of fun. How was that, buddy?
Very good.
Very good. Can you take your jacket off now? We'll give it to Harris and he can have a turn. So that's been really good. And then last couple of days it's just been horrendous weather. Just wind, basically, hot and windy.
The winds have picked up, the sand is we are just getting sandblasted by these winds. There's just wind whipping around underneath the caravan. We have to have everything closed because it just is creating a vortex where even if you have the slightest window cracked for some airflow, it just whips around underneath and then sucks in. You get sand on absolutely everything. It's really unpleasant outside, even just trying to sit outside on the chairs and have a cup of coffee, even with the caravan as a windbreak, it's just insane. There's just grit everywhere. Kalbarri's not too far away, the town is Kalbarri, so our plan this morning was let's just go take the kids into the library, hang out in the air conditioning, they can do their school calls there, we can get some work done, and then just see what the day brings, and then come back here in the Arvo when it's a little less intense, because it is going to be a hot week. We're talking like high 30s, low 40s, insane winds. Oh, it's not great. So we thought we'd do that, but now the car won't start. The car has a flat battery, which is not good, and it's so flat that we can't jump it. Oh, it's just one thing after another, I swear, when you're traveling on the road. Like, there is never just like no jobs that need to be done, nothing that needs to not be sorted. And at the moment, I think we're just all a bit exhausted and hot and bothered by the wind. It's not all sunshine, lollipops and roses when you're traveling, and I tell you what, there's not been many days where I've thought, gee, I wish I was in a house or I'm done with this. But today I am daydreaming about like a resort style bathroom and like some space. But I know it's just a phase, I know it'll pass. I also woke up this morning, looked out the windows and was like, this is amazing, I love this. How could you want anything else? All right, I'm just gonna try and find someone who we can start the car with their car and see how that goes. That's the current plan. Morning. How was your morning? I bet it was better than ours. Oh dear. All right. So we just camped up recently, and you would have seen the footage with the truck that was here. That's actually Andrew and Bryony. Anyway, so Simon just gave them a call and he said, look, if you can get someone to stay there and just leave the car running while your jumper leads are attached for at least 5 minutes with the V8 engine that we've got, he said that would be way better, and worked, which is nice.
He was right. He was right. Not surprisingly, he was right. Yeah, it needed a fair time on the hooked up to the other car before it would start, but it started reluctantly, but it started. But yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something's been wired up wrong for sure. That's draining the battery. Whether it's something I've done or something that was done previously, I don't really know what's draining it. We did have a few like dull starts before I touched it, in my defense. But yeah, it never drained like this. So when I put the multimeter on, I had 4 volts, 3.9 in fact on the battery. So she was completely dead. We may have damaged the battery, but anyway, we'll go in and see what we can find in town and get some charge into the battery and see how we go. But it's nice when your car runs. It's the most, what do you call it, helpless feeling when your car doesn't start and you just can't do anything. It's dead and it won't start. You just feel so helpless. But anyway, I might invest in you know what I might invest in is like a battery charger, so we can run the inverter in the van. If we really get stranded somewhere, you could run the inverter in the van to charge the battery, like as a charger, rather than just trying to jump start it.
How is that different to the battery pack we've got?
Well, the battery pack we've got is just a jump starter.
Okay.
So it just sends a surge in to jump start it, but it doesn't actually charge the battery. It just gets the car going, and then you still need to drive for a while or whatever to get to actually charge the battery. Whereas a proper battery charger would charge it, say, over. You could even say today we could have just left it on the battery charger all day to get and it would charge the battery properly.
Okay. Sounds like a wise piece of investment for us. I feel like we're cursed.
Yeah.
So probably sound investment for us.
All right, so we've had some success with diagnosing what is draining the battery and why we ended up with a flat battery. So we went into town and saw our mate Andrew, who conveniently is an auto electrician, and he showed me a really cool trick to be able to figure out what is causing drain off your battery, which I think it'd be good to share with everyone. All you need to be able to do it is a multimeter. So what we figured out by doing it with mine is that it's actually our electric shocks. So the J-Max kit that we put in the car has electric adjustable shocks, and the controller for the electric shocks is wired to permanent power on the battery. I'm not sure why that is. I'm just at the moment investigating that, getting an answer on whether that's how it should be, and if so, why. Because what we've discovered is it's drawing almost half an amp just to run that little control unit, which stays on all the time, even when the ignition's off and the key's out. So we'll check back with you on that one and let you know whether what the result is. But what I think I'm going to end up doing is rewiring that to be on ignition power only. So to check what is drawing on the battery, the first thing Andrew said is more than likely, almost 100% of the time, it's aftermarket wiring. Something wired aftermarket is what's going to be causing drain on your battery. It's very unlikely it would be anything from the factory. So that's a good spot to start. To check what drain is on your battery, you need to set your multimeter to amps, so the amp reading, and then disconnect the negative side of your battery, your whole battery terminal. Take that off, and then you bridge between the terminal and the wiring with that disconnected. And what that effectively does is then any power, this is with the car off, by the way, this then, any power that's going through the battery or is being drained from the battery has to then go through the multimeter, and this acts almost like an amp reader or an ammeter, or it is exactly what it acts as, is an ammeter, almost like your bus bar or any battery monitoring system that you've got in your caravan, camper trailer, anything like that. This is how they work, is that all the loads through the negative side of the terminal go through them. So that will tell you then how much draw you've got on your battery. Now there's always going to be a little bit of draw, like a micro amount of draw, less than 0.1 of an amp or something like that. But what we found is we were getting 0.47 or 0.48 of an amp, which turned out to mostly be that J-Max electric shock control unit. So from that, we were able to then start to isolate individual circuits on the positive side of the battery to determine that. So when we found it by pulling fuses, so when I pulled the fuse out of the J-Max kit, we saw that power drop that was being drawn off the battery, and that isolated that straight away. So it's a really good way to do it. It's a good idea to have, to know where all your fuses are for all your accessories, particularly your aftermarket accessories, and you can just isolate those circuits one by one and try and figure out what is causing drain, and then go and investigate it a bit further. So I just thought that was a really handy trick to know. I've always used a multimeter just for checking amps on the battery and things like that, but I've never known how to check the current draw that's going through it. So that's a good one to know, but you do, like I said, you can't just bridge across between your negative and your positive without disconnecting your negative, because the draw won't show on your multimeter. You need to disconnect that negative. Make sure before you do that, if you've got any battery, make sure before you do that, if your car stereo or anything like that needs a code to reset it, that you've got that code beforehand. A lot of them have security codes and stuff if they lose power. Make sure you got all that before you go. But if you've got a Landcruiser like this, you don't need to worry about that because it's not that technical. But yeah, that was a really cool exercise to be able to figure that out. So for now, we're just manually turning off the J-Max controller. Actually, might film that around here. So I've got the keys are out of the car at the moment, and you can see I've got power to the J-Max. This is the J-Max control unit for the shocks. So that would stay on the whole time if I didn't turn it off manually. You can just turn it off manually, which is what we're doing for now, just until I find out from J-Max. I just want to double check before I rewire it to ignition power that there's no specific reason it's got permanent power and that it doesn't need permanent power before I go and do that. It may be that it'll lose memory, is the only thing I'm thinking, is that there's some information stored in that as far as like what your previous settings were and things like that, and without permanent power it may lose that information. So like anything, I just want to double check before I go and rewire it that I can get away with it. But I think it'll either be that, or we just got to remember to turn it off manually, or if I do rewire it, we may have to just deal with memory loss on the unit. But I'll find out and I'll let you guys know when we hear back. We woke up this morning and it's back on. The weather's back. We got a beautiful morning this morning. We're just going to sit down and enjoy a coffee, and then our mates Mel and Pete came in yesterday to join us for a bit as well, that you guys would have seen in some of our videos recently. So pretty keen to just chill and hang out here for a while. I don't know how long we'll stay here. It's $15 a night, so it's pretty reasonable. And there's rubbish bins and dump point and toilets here if you need them. They're all back at the main campground though, but down on the beach here is an absolute perler. We were here a couple of years ago, didn't even realise, well, no one back then was camping on the beach. There was no vans, no camper trailers, no tents even on the beach. But this year, heaps of people on the beach, so that's been really cool. It's a bloody magic spot, especially if you get good weather like we got today.
This is so cool out here this morning. It's absolute glass. I just borrowed one of our neighbours' kayaks, and I think I need one. I think I need one in my life. This is so beautiful here. Like, we've just seen dolphins out here this morning. Mel and I have just come out for a little paddle, just drifting around, checking out the coral. It's just bloody magical. Kids are happy watching new episodes of Bluey. Mate, life is good. I'll drift into this rock in a second. Hang on, let me check it out. Look how beautiful it is out here.
I've been down so long, get no rest. No, no. I've been down so long that my mind can't get no rest.
I tell you what, when the weather's on in WA, you got to make the most of it. A day like today is pretty rare. Beautiful light wind just coming on shore. Sun's out, nice and warm, perfect day for just hanging out at the beach. Loving the new setup in the car. This is why we built this car, for doing this sort of stuff. And yeah, it's awesome. Performing flawlessly so far.
I'm going to be the first to admit that I was a massive skeptic of whether we needed a full awning or not. I got ginger skin. It's amazing. Shade on the beach is just, oh, so good. So good. So yeah, really loving the awning. The fridge is good. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Something we didn't do when we did the fit out to the rest of the Landcruiser was any performance upgrades. Now, it's no secret that the 70 series Cruiser is a little bit underpowered from factory and has a lot of potential. Yeah, it's not going to win any competitions when it comes to performance. So the first thing I'm going to do is, a heap of people have recommended one of these to me. That's the back of the box. A throttle controller. I ordered this one, which is the Pedal Torque Plus, they call it, from Torque It, because we've already got the Torque It exhaust on the car, and there's a couple other Torque It products I might end up doing down the track as well. But for now, we're going to do this, which is the Pedal Torque. Now, this is a throttle controller, so it doesn't actually increase the power or the torque or anything like that of the engine. It just modifies the throttle signal that goes from the accelerator pedal to the ECU, and so it just changes the throttle response. It means we can turn it up when we're towing and things like that, make the throttle more responsive, and turn it down when we're off-roading on rocks and things like that. So I'm going to quickly install it. It's a super easy install. I just got to download the app and then plug the little module in between the factory wiring for the accelerator, and this goes in between that, and then it gives me a little control as well that I can put up on the dash, as well as being able to use it through the app, which I like having both, because as good as apps are, you don't want everything running through an app. But I reckon from our needs, just up here is a perfect little spot for that. So I might get some double-sided tape or something like that and whack that there, nice and easy to reach, and away from the kids so they don't fiddle with it. All right, we're just on the dunes here. We're just on cruise mode at the moment, which I think is the sort of standard mode. Let's go straight to Sport Plus. Oh, that looks good. It went red. That must be good. That must mean something fun's about to happen. Oh, that's so much easier to get the clutch out, because as soon as you touch the accelerator, it's powering on. That's cool. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun playing around with that over the next couple of months as we tour around. That definitely makes more of a difference, the Torque It controller, than I was expecting. So I'm pretty keen to test that out once we get the Caravan hitched up over the next few weeks. We just got back to camp, and there's a bit of commotion down on the beach, and turns out Kai, one of the guys that's been hanging around down on the beach here with us, has landed himself a pretty impressive long-tailed tuna from his boat just out off the reef. He's filleting that up, and he reckons his freezers are full, and so he's keen to share it with everyone. So we've scored ourselves a nice slab of tuna, which is awesome. So I think tonight the plan is going to be poke bowls for dinner. There's talk of some cocktails, footy's on, and if the last few nights are anything to go by, we should be in for a cracking sunset. All right, first things first, though, we're going to knock up these poke bowls.
All right, so for these poke bowls, Mel and I have joined forces with the ingredients we've got in our fridges. So we're going to add some cucumber, some red onion, some avocado. So then I've diced up the tuna that we got from Kai off the beach, and we're going to ceviche that in a ponzu dressing, which is basically equal parts lemon juice and soy sauce. And it also has sesame oil in it, but I don't have any, Mel hasn't got any, and I did a run around the beach and nobody's got any, so I'm going to substitute something else for that a bit later. So then basically you just put all those ingredients on top of a bed of rice, which has been cooked with some rice wine vinegar, and then as a dressing I've used a sesame Kewpie mayonnaise, which I reckon should go down a treat.
you gave me a cute band.
I'm ready for you. Call me. Right now you're fading to the dark. Right now you lost your every spark. Right now you struggle to let go. Right now pain is all you know.
This giant lightning strikes right out that way.
We should try and catch them.
Yeah, I'm gonna capture them. Oh, another one. 5 kilometers.
You have to commit if you're gonna jump.
I'll help you ease your pain.
Well, that's it for Lucky Bay. A little bit sad to leave, actually. We ended up being down there for 2.5 weeks, even though it doesn't look like it on YouTube. There was a fair few days there where we just kicked back and enjoyed it, but yeah, that's our longest stay on a beach for a very long time, maybe ever, actually. I don't think we've ever stayed on a beach for longer than that, but the weather turned... When have we been longer on a beach?
Down where we went snorkeling with the turtles.
Yeah, we were only there for a week and a half though. This was 2.5 weeks. Yeah, so anyway, good spot, and if the weather's on, we just decided to stay, and it was, we got a bit of everything with the weather, but most of all it was good, so we stayed. I'm gonna head into Kalbarri now. I'm gonna do a couple of nights in the van park. It's my birthday today, so we're gonna go to the brewery for my birthday, and we're gonna...
Deep clean.
Yeah, we're gonna do a deep clean and do a heap of laundry and get ready for the next phase of travel. We're gonna go to a station stay for a little bit, and then some more coastal camping up further north. So looking forward to all that, but for now, let's get into town, unhitch again, go to the brewery.
I actually think that this campsite is going up with... It's got to be in my top 3, and I'm trying to work out why it's in my top 3. I think I was just so incredibly relaxed, especially like beach camping with the kids. You know, there's this beautiful water where even if the kids went in for 10 meters, they'd still only be knee deep, and then you have to worry, like, I don't know, there's just the level of relax was the next level. There was sand dunes, there was snorkeling, you could go out on a kayak, you could go out and paddleboard, people were out fishing. Like, we pretty much didn't leave a 50-meter radius for 2.5 weeks, and I was never once bored.
And so often these campgrounds are made by the people.
Yeah, and then the next thing is that the people that we met there were awesome. Like, we obviously had our friends, Off-Grid Adventures, and our beautiful Chaos there when we first got there. Then we had it to ourselves, or like pretty quiet for a few nights, and then our good mates Mel and Pete came to camp out with us for our birthdays. Like, it doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better.
Oh, that's good enough. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to subscribe. I'll leave a little code down here, a little QR code. A lot of you guys that watch on TV say that you have trouble figuring out how to subscribe, so I'm going to make it as easy as I can for you. If you scan that QR code down there with your phone while you're watching on your TV, it'll take you straight to our page on YouTube, and you can like our channel there, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Really appreciate it. It does help us out a lot and helps us to grow the channel, which means we can do more awesome and better stuff and keeps this content coming and keeps it free for you, which is the main thing. We're going to get out of here, head into Kalbarri. It's time for a beer. We'll see you next Sunday. Cheers, guys.
Look, baby, about this big out there, and he was pulling really hard on my rod.
Yeah. Stop recording now. But one of the other things is the throttle lag. So that's not really what I want to say.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm going to spin around.
Hang on a second, just trying to find your little face. There we go, there we go. Are you going to sign off? Are you going to film at the brewery?
Yeah, I can do it here.
What did the rock say when it rolled into the tray? Nothing. Rocks don't talk. And I'll tell you what, we'll see you next Sunday.
Caught behind the Asian lines, out of reach for the